In Khan Academy, you've seen comments in your code already. For example, the moles with holes, we had the / face telling us that that particular ellipse was the face. Well, there are actually two types of comment in JavaScript. The one that we've been seeing a lot in our code is the // and that's for single line comments. Everything after the / gets ignored by the JavaScript interpreter. That way you can put in English comments to help you understand your code. There's also a multi-line comment, and that's used with a /*, and that indicates you're beginning a comment. Then everything inside is ignored. That's only for human consumption to be read, and it is ignored until it gets to a // to say that I'm done with the comment. So, for example, if I go into my moles and holes and I put a /* around my for loop, then my moles are not being drawn because it's saying treat this as a comment, not code. So it's just going to ignore everything in here. It's not going to try to execute what's ever in there. And we've seen that in our debugging exercises, that we can use comments to comment out the code so that we can isolate problems. So comments are more than just for debugging. They're actually to help the programmers have better code. One way that it helps is that the original programmer can remember what the code means. If I go back to my loops with moles, you know, if I want to change maybe the size of the eyes, it's really helpful that I have a comment in here saying that these are the eyes, because then I can go directly to those eyes to try to change them. Otherwise, it would take a lot of work to figure out which one is the eye that I need to change, because it's just an ellipse. Also, comments help the next programmer understand how the code works. So if I gave you my project and I told you to change it so the mole's eyes were bigger, if I had comments in the code that I gave you, you could quickly find that code and make those changes that you need to make. By writing useful comments in your code, that helps improve the maintainability, which means making fixes and adding enhancements, and also prevents bugs because you've clearly stated what your goal is, and when somebody comes in and makes a change, they can understand your thinking and won't inadvertently mess it up. So in order for a comment to be a good comment, it needs to be descriptive of the code's functionality, provide meaning to the code as it applies to the application, and provide value in understanding that meaning. It also should be used liberally throughout all of your code. Comments should not explain the literal meaning of the code. So for example, I have this line of code, var count equals is assigned the value of 0. Putting a comment above it saying assign the variable count the value of 0 is not very helpful, because I can read the code and that's what it's telling me. This comment is not telling me anything about the application. Maybe I could say initialize the counter for my while loop, so that I know that I'm going to use that just as a temporary variable to go through a loop. But instead, it's just telling me exactly what the code is telling me and no more. And because we are doing some HTML coding, I just wanted to also include how to create HTML comments. And that's a little bit different than the JavaScript comments. Once you're in the script tag, you can use the JavaScript comments, but outside of that script tag in an HTML, you're going to have to use exclamation point dash dash after the angle bracket, and then the close is also a dash dash before the angle bracket. And so everything inside those special bracket comment brackets will make that a comment in HTML.